Have you ever wondered if a guy is really interested or if he's just playing games? Or have you ever found yourself getting stuck in friend zone and really wanting something more? I'm Lange, and I'm an expert on love, dating, and relationships, and it is my passion to help women date like a queen, attract their king, and feel fabulously feminine along the way. But this is a really hot topic, because if we can't understand when a man is interested in us, we're going to be missing out on great opportunities and chasing after men who just aren't available or just aren't interested, and that can be a huge waste of time and a big waste of energy. Instead of crushing on someone who's just not available or into you, what if you could be putting all of that energy into meeting someone who's the love of your life, right? So this can be a big problem because I don't want you to get into a cycle of blaming yourself if someone's not pursuing you, if they're in fact just not available. And what I want for you is to be able to feel really comfortable, really confident, reading these social cues and getting into a great partnership. And it's a dance. You give feedback to him, he gives feedback to you energetically, non-verbally, and otherwise, and that's a huge thing that I teach my clients. Also, I teach them how to be receptive. Sometimes someone might be interested in us, but we've shut it down or we're not being receptive to it, and so we're kind of walking around blind or so worried or thinking about the person that we were crushing on 3 years ago that we're not even present to the opportunities that are in front of us. So there are 4 ways that you know when a man is interested in you, and this is going to save you a ton of heartache and get you into a healthy partnership so much faster. So the number 1 way that you know that a man is into you is when he lights up when you're with him and he makes sustained eye contact. Now, some men are a little more shy than other men, and so they may not feel quite as comfortable with this, but you should be able to tell that a man gets excited in some way when he's around you. Maybe his eyes widen, maybe you notice him looking at you more, maybe you notice him leaning in during your conversation. You can tell that he's starting to feel your energy and he's responding to that. If he's checking his phone on a date or checking out other women, or he's having a hard time being present with you, it tells me one of 2 things. He's not ready for a relationship because he hasn't done his inner work to really be present with you, or he's so overwhelmed with what's going on in his life right now that he hasn't been able to make the emotional or otherwise the space to have a partnership. And in either of those situations, I don't want you to waste your time on that. Now, the second way that you know that a man is interested in you is that he actually pursues you. He takes action. He doesn't just respond with 1 word to your text or to your online messages, and he doesn't charm you but then leave and not ask for your number. So if someone's being really charming and really overtly flirtatious and then they never actually do anything with it, to me that feels like leaky energy. That feels like them directing their sensual or their sexual energy towards you, but then not really following through. Now, some people do that because they're not conscious of it. Some people do it because they're just in a place where they want that validation from other people. And what I want for you is to be with someone who's charming and flirtatious and makes you feel like a total goddess, but also has the integrity to back it up, who takes action, who follows that magnetism that you're creating, and it leads to something. So if someone is not taking action in any way, it tells me that they're probably not interested or not able to create a partnership and maybe have some cleanup work to do with the way that they share their energy. Now, the third way that you know that a man is interested might surprise you. So the first thing that I want to tell you before I get to that is about my client, Christy. So my client, Christy, came to me and she had been through a few different long-term relationships that didn't work. She was really heartbroken and she was ready to learn how to date in the effective way because she was in her early 40s and she wanted to meet a partner and have a family, and she was worried that time was running out. She had a lot of struggles with online dating. She wasn't meeting high-quality men in person, and when she was meeting men in person who seemed like a great catch, they were flirting with her and engaging with her and then just leaving her high and dry, not even asking her out or asking for her number. Or worse, she would go on a date or 2 with someone who seemed really interested, and then he would just never pursue things, and it left her wondering, did I do something wrong, or was he just not available, or was he just not that into me? So her and I did some deep work together to help her understand how to date like a queen, how to select the highest quality men, how to make sure that she was in her feminine and feeling attractive and luscious, and how to really vet out or weed out the men who didn't have her best interests at heart, or the men who weren't being totally honest. So this leads me to the third way that you know that a man is interested in you, is he's willing to be patient. This doesn't mean that you're dating for 3 years and that you're not sure if you like him and that you're friend zoning him or relegating him to your last available option in your calendar. But what it does mean is that he has enough drive and commitment and connection to you and interest in you that he's not putting his agenda above other things. So if you meet someone who's just wants to have an emotion or an intimate connection with you without an emotional connection, if he has an agenda physically or otherwise, if he's not patient for your own needs and your own desires, then that's a red flag that he's not actually interested in you. He's just interested in accomplishing his objective, which may or may not actually include who you really are. So when Christy met her guy, they went on 5 dates before they even kissed. Now, this isn't something I always say needs to happen or that I necessarily recommend to my clients, but she was really trying to feel out if she was interested in him. He had so many great qualities, but he was also very different than the sort of person that she had imagined that she would be with, and her nervous system had gotten so used to men who were chasing her and pursuing her and being really over the top that his slow, steady, patient presence just felt different. In fact, it was normal and it was healthy, but she was so used to these short-term, really over-the-top men that she wasn't even sure what to do with it. So the way that he was patient with her and grounded and steady really told her that he was committed and he was interested specifically in her. Now, the fourth way that you know that a man is actually interested in you is if he lets you into his life, if he lets you into his world. If a man doesn't let you meet any of his friends, if he never talks about where he lives, if he's really tight-lipped about his job and all of these things, he's either a spy, or he's just not ready for a relationship. So I want you to pay attention when you're getting to know someone. How much does he share about his life? How much does he let me into his world? Do I start to meet his friends? Family sometimes take a little bit longer, but can I feel like I'm getting to know who he is beyond just who's presenting to me? We can all wear a mask for a few weeks or a few months, but it's hard to wear a mask for an extended amount of time across all the areas of our life. So I want you to feel connected to who he is as a person beyond who he is when he's just with you. Now, if you ever struggle to get beyond the friend zone, if you ever struggle reading the cues from men, if you ever struggle to get into a great relationship and just have that sixth sense about if someone's interested in you or not, then I'd love to see if I can help. We do free discovery calls, which are 20 minutes long. You're gonna get a ton of value and clarity from these. And then if we feel like it's a good fit, we'll talk to you about the next step, which would be having a free strategy session with us, where we go deep into those sticking points and help you create a road plan or a game plan, a roadmap for getting everything that you want when it comes to love. So go to violetlange.com/talk and set up your free discovery session now so you can get that much closer to that incredible partnership. Mwah.